a rare and candid conversation awaits. Let's proceed to the intriguing fireside chat session. We are extremely honored to have with us Shri B.K. Singh, ex-DCG, IPS officer, Madhya Pradesh. Sir, may we please have you on the stage? This session will be moderated by Dr. Subrat Kumar, CEO, People Labs. May we have a huge round of applause for them. Over to you, sir.
Working, sir. All right. If you want, you can use the podium wherever you are for your initial remarks. Initial remarks. Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. So, at the outset, I would like to thank Shri B.K. Singh, sir, for kindly consenting us to join here for the fireside chat at IAC 2025. This is the 7th edition of IAC. And when we started, we also thought about that why should it be only limited to industry and academia? And why not have some stalwarts who are neither from industry and academia, but both industry and academia can benefit a lot from the tons of wisdom and insight which they bring to the table. In our previous editions, we have been privileged to host such luminaries. And I'm once again extremely grateful, sir, that you accepted our kind invitation to be here with us for this fireside chat. Just to share with you the context, the audience out here is full of both industry leaders and practitioners, and same is the case for academia. And they come from across the industry, across the geography, both public, private sector, cooperative sector, all are being represented over here. Now, since my childhood, or at least I can say, over the last 5 years, I always have a great fascination that I like to read certain genre of books. And I like to read about certain episodes. And one of them is definitely about intelligence and espionage. And you'll be happy to know that sir has been the DG of Intelligence Bureau, and he has also been the DG at Chhattisgarh. I'm pretty sure we can do a big round of applause for him. The way we have structured this fireside chat, that I'll be requesting sir for his initial opening remarks. There are going to be 3 parts to it. We are requesting sir for his initial opening remarks. Then there are a few questions which I would like to put up. And of course, I must give a disclaimer that there are certain limitations as far as his expressing of certain views is concerned. We'll throw it to the audience, but when we throw it to the audience, 2 requests. 1, you will ask only the questions. And 2, if sir is not comfortable, because he is also bound by certain rules, we need to give that a pass. On that note, sir, thank you very much once again. May I request you for your opening remarks, please. If you want to use, you can use the podium, sir. Please give a big round of applause for him.
Is it function? Good morning, everybody here. I am just by accident here. Just by accident. A square plug into a round hole. Completely unknown. As Subrat told you, you are. I will just put a one-line rider for whatever I am going to speak here in response to your question or suo moto myself. In the intelligence world, you are not supposed to carry any jotting book or pen. And therefore, speaking extempore or while interacting with you, it is to rule out the chances of astral and deviant astral. We are not supposed to speak without notes, because chances of inadvertent mentions, which may be sensitive in some sense. Anyway, to begin with, at the outset, I thank my friend Subrat, who got me here. And I feel privileged and honored to be in this august company. To begin with, I would just say 2-3 lines about my professional work, that is intelligence. What is intelligence? People define it differently depending upon their academic background or the field of specialization. Intelligence in common parlance is cerebral power. Cerebral power, which we all have in varying degrees. But in the realm of security, from which I come, it is a piece of information which is demanding an action. It is harnessing of certain observation for ensuring greater security to an existing situation or entity. Intelligence in the realm of security has several applications, and it's very interesting that an information which is looking very innocuous can be very malignant. Depends on how the professionals who are in this field process it, project it. A very innocuous looking information is processed and dished out to the consumer. And therefore, it is a piece of information which demands an immediate action for preemptive purposes. So I would mention through my notes, which I met this morning, I would like to read it. In common parlance, it denotes the cerebral power of human individual, power of the mind for analysis, power to understand and comprehend concepts and realities. But in the context of security, it is a piece of information revealing, exposing something nefarious. All intelligence is information, and not all information is intelligence. Security gets strengthened with a better and precise intelligence. Information on detecting, deciphering, destroying anything which is an imminent danger to the state or community is intelligence. Intelligence provokes action. It may be of help in decision making or initiating a suitable action for preemptive action. Preemptive or preventive action requires precise information, which is the content of all intelligence. Intelligence agencies, I must add to my one-liner definition. Intelligence agencies and communities are frontline troops in the war against terror. Frontline troops. They are not in great number. One person is equivalent to one army. And which this terrorism, tackling it, containing it, eradicating it, is the most difficult task the humanity can imagine. Because terrorism threatens to finish our democracy, freedom, and civilization. Protection of this in the free world and fight for it against authoritarian ideologies was an existential conflict that we are facing. Intelligence systems not only protect and secure the country and its systems, but also guard against attacks on its security umbrella. And to saving them from subversion and infiltration is the task of intelligence. I would stop here on intelligence about this. Now I will speak 2 lines on security. What is security? Is it posting guards all around your house? Is it security? Or is it raising a boundary wall to guard your precinct? Normally, that is the common understanding what security is. Posting a gunman, putting a boundary wall around you or your house is security. Putting guards, armies around your country's borders is also security. But security in a sublime context is a shared public good. Security is essentially a shared public good. Unlike a private good, security is a public good. Why it is shared public good? The example of private good is quintessential toothbrush. Used on intelligence about this. Now I will speak 2 lines on security. What is security? Is it posting guards all around your house? Is it security? Or is it raising a boundary wall to guard your precinct? Normally, that is the common understanding what security is. Posting a gunman, putting a boundary wall around you or your house is security. Putting guards, armies around your country's borders is also security. But security in a sublime context is a shared public good. Security is essentially a shared public good. Unlike a private good, security is a public good. Why it is shared public good? The example of private good is quintessential toothbrush. Used by one renders it useless for all others. It's a private good. But security is a public good, and it's a shared public good. Why? A crime-free street is a public good. Used by one makes it more useful, all the more useful. One person crosses the street, he says, "Oh, I was feeling safe here." Then the other persons are tempted to use that street because it is crime-free. So security is essentially a public good, a shared public good. Its use by one makes it more useful for others. One person who has crossed it safely will tend to spread the word that it is free, it is safe. So this is, and in this age of economic liberalization, markets tend to go wrong in assessing its value. Markets determine the price of everything that we use, but it fails to assess the value of the defense system, the police system, which ensure the security. So, absence of crime on a particular street is a public good, in the sense that one person's use of it does not render reduced use of it. And other thing, it is not just guarding, security is not just guarding a particular person, protectee, or an entity. There are many things, many activities going on in the society that requires a constant security, a fail-safe, foolproof security. Why? One of these activities is public discussion, public reasoning. Public discussion has an important role in determining how a society performs, and it gets manifest as security. Let us imagine for a second the situation in Sri Lanka, the situation in Bangladesh. What happened? Security was missing. Public discussion was missing. Public reasoning was missing in those countries. Public discussion has an important role in determining how a society performs. And security is a manifestation of that. The diagnostics of security is best evolved in a public discussion, in a public reasoning. A great economist, John Maynard Keynes, and John Stuart Mill have in equal measure emphasized the role of public reasoning in good policy making. Security arrangement also requires a policy formulation, a formulation of response to the impending dangers. Mill has rightly said that democracy is a government by discussion. Ashoka, the Great, 3,000 years ago, had emphasized the contribution that open discussions could make to an understanding of what society needed. Today, we are into this war against terror, and public reasoning is educating the security personnel about the new genus of threats, new genus of dangers that the community is facing. Decision on important matters should not be made by one person alone. They should be discussed with many. The idea that democracy is government by discussion and not just about voting remains extremely relevant today. Many of the large failures of democratic governance in recent times have arisen precisely from inadequate public discussion. I gave you the example of the two neighboring countries. There was no public reasoning, really meaningful public reasoning was going on in that country. So, the kind of flash revolts and complete wiping of the security structure happened. In evolved society, public reasoning never stops. It must go on. And public reasoning, right now, we are into it. This gathering is a gathering of public debate, discussion, dialogue. And that's what we are doing. While talking of intelligence in the realm of security, I said something. It's a piece of information. It's there to strengthen, complement, and supplement the security arrangements. These days, there are new concepts called fluid intelligence. It is also on the psychology and also on the security. Fluid intelligence, the power of speed, abstraction, and logic, is at its peak when the human beings are 20 years old plus. In the 20s, the power of mind for logical thinking, abstraction, and speed of thinking and logic is at its peak. Fluid intelligence is the driver of many breakthroughs in physics and mathematics. Most of the preeminent geniuses of the 20th century physics started young. I think you must have heard the name of Werner Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, Paul Dirac. I am a student of physics, so I brought some examples from that realm only. Paul Dirac, they all made their contributions when Heisenberg was only 23-year old, Niels Bohr was only 28 years old, and Paul Dirac was only 26-year-old. They made their historical contribution in the field of physics. And lately, adding to this hypothesis, great Einstein said, a person who has not made his great contribution to science before the age of 30 will never do so, said Einstein in a phrase that haunts PhD students even today. He published his own special theory of relativity at 26. The Field Medal for mathematics is awarded only to those who are 40 or younger. This is not to suggest that poetry, algebra, and song, music, die in the Middle Ages, nor is it to deny that equally important powers and faculties flourish later in life. The fluid intelligence ultimately leads to the best of contributions and evolution of thoughts. There is another concept called crystallized intelligence. The accumulation of knowledge, facts, and skills grows throughout life. It doesn't end with the 30. Novelists require wisdom and stamina, tend to pick later than poets. Poets display their genius younger. Novelists display their genius later in life. Why? Great visual artists often make their most profound statements deep in old age. Michelangelo, Titian, Rembrandt, Monet, Goya. But youthful genius has a special anarchic power that our society is not currently good at harnessing. There are many creativities going on, but the genius of the youth is unique. In 1960s, we noticed youth being worshipped. But in 2020s, we treat the youth with a smothering condescension. The first decade of adulthood should be one of electric inspiration, but it has bafflingly been recast as one of the infantilizing apprenticeship, internship, postgraduate degrees, and financial dependence. The modern Niels Bohr, had he been alive today, might be stuck wasting his time applying for insecure term, early career jobs at universities. Our culture seems tired and repetitive. Perhaps it is because it fails to give a proper outlet to the energies of its youngest members. The stupidity, bravery, and ambition of the youth can be irritating, especially to our cautions. We need in the realm of security younger people, people full of energy. So that's why I am introducing this concept. The stupidity, bravery, and ambition of the youth can be irritating, especially to our cautions. Credential obsessed age, but it is vital to progress. Even ignorance can be a virtue when it allows you to blunder past the accumulated libraries of accepted wisdom to tackle the fundamental questions for life. A detective mind always looks for unusual. Unusual. That is why the eccentricity of the youth should be appreciated and reappreciated. It should not be ignored. Something like this is happening around us in our country as well. Often what the young contribute is energy. Recall the incense schedule of the 20s of Bill Gates. Sheer monomania is an important part of many young startup founders of their businesses. Our society channels so much youthful drive and energy and passion towards trivial jobs like fetching coffee and writing matters of theses. After this fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence, there is a word these days, it's a buzzword, demographic metabolism. The process by which societies process generational change. Security is affected by generational change, generation gap. Like the old hats, should we stick to the predefined, pre-codified norms and methods of security? Or should we allow the innovative mind of the young people redefine security, do whatever they feel like? So our demographic metabolism today is sluggish currently. This is a major problem, macro problem we are facing in this world. We are richer than ever in the wisdom and skill of the old artists. Rock stars have their careers flowing into their 80s. But if 2020s cannot match the excitement and innovation of the 60s, it is because we are bad at taking advantage of the energy of the youth. Security must take advantage of the energetic contribution the youth can make. Security is partly, in my understanding, love of the country. We are all into the enterprise of making India great. And that comes only when we display that zeal of love for the country. Leadership is evolving continuously. It is a crystallization process. It is a process of synthesis and crystallization simultaneously. We are all participants in the process of making our country strong and resilient, ready to take on the attacks impending, solving its myriad applications. I would end up by quoting the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Long ago he wrote, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." It is the role of the leaders to help guide that choice and inspire the people in its execution. A great poem which I often recite, "The love that asks no question, the love that stands the test, that lays upon the altar the dearest and the best." Security is that. I would add to whatever I have said. I don't know, in my humble thinking, I jotted these points. We must strive to increase the pace of our demographic metabolism. In reaping the dividends, demographic dividends, we were rather sluggish. We must speed up our demographic metabolism. Before I close, I would relate a story. It's a message to people of all ages, not just a lesson for the youth. I had gone to meet my brother in a hospital in US. Normally, wherever I go, I visit a small primary school, a hospital, and a coffee shop. At these three places, you can gauge the condition of the collective of the country is headed towards. Again, these things have come in economics. A great economist, Thomas Piketty, he runs an inequality lab somewhere near Paris. The quality of life of people indicates sufficiently into the political choice the society has made. So visit these three places and you will have a fairly good idea about the direction in which the community or the collective of human collective is heading towards. Now the anecdote, a story. I was in the hospital. Well, Dr. Singh is there. No, he is doing a procedure. Sir, please be seated, have your coffee and wait for him. Okay. That waiting room was situated contiguous with the chemotherapy ward of the cancer hospital. The attendant was a lady who was cleaning the floor of the chemotherapy ward. She was attending on me and also cleaning the gastric lavas and vomits of the chemotherapy patients after the chemotherapy session was over. I asked her out of my inquisition, what is your position and remit of job here? She quipped, "Sir, I am part of the healing process." She could have said, "I am supposed to do the cleaning of the chemotherapy ward. I am also supposed to be attending on visitors like you." But appreciate the reply she gave to my question. Simple routine query. I am part of the healing process. If I will not clean the ward, the next day's chemotherapy session for all the cancer patients would get deferred. She understood the meaning, in my understanding, she understood the meaning of the importance of the job she was assigned. And this is somewhere is missing in our society. Everybody is important. And once we realize the importance of our job, whatever has come our way, we will be giving our best to our job and best to the security job that I happen to be in that sphere. Any job, whether it is security or not security, if people assigned to do that particular job understand the larger meaning, the finer meaning of that job, the job is well done. The job may be a security job. So this is, I briefly summed up. I think we should appreciate the meaning of the assignment that we have, and security and intelligence will automatically be done. In my opinion, in my very small understanding, I think every job is same, provided you do it passionately, dedicatedly, and having an understanding, having grasped the understanding of the gravity of the job. This is about my opening remarks. Many things could be said. In the Gita, which I read every morning. So, before I leave the podium, I would quote that slok, which Arjun says after seeing the real face of Bhagavan Krishna. He was not understanding the assignment he was given by Lord Krishna. He had to fight war against his own cousins, but he was shaking. Sidantimam gatrani. To last me, whatever I have said, I fully beg your pardon if I have spoken tall things. I would like to be pardoned and excused. But then that slok is very important. Shakheti matva prasavang jaduktang he Krishna he Jadav he shakheti ajanata mahimanang tavedang maya pramadat pranayanapi. I was not knowing your greatness. So I said something out of my ignorance. Sakheti matva prasabhang jaduktang he Krishna he Jadav he shakheti ajanata mahimanang tavedang maya pramadat pranayanapi. I didn't know the greatness of the people sitting in this hall, but I did mention some babblings. I did some babblings to have a reappreciation of intelligence, security, and leadership. Leadership is a constant process. It's an ongoing process. It's under constant evolution. And it begets an understanding, a larger macro understanding of things and assignments. So that's it.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed a speech full of life lessons, as well as you traversed what we had talked about, that both academic as well as anecdotal wisdom. Thank you so much. I'm honestly not left with many questions, but I can't let go of this opportunity either. So I will just have a quick fire, only couple of questions from you. My first question, for the benefit of everyone out here: what has been the biggest challenge of your life, and how did you overcome that?
Life itself is a challenge.
Well, I will not still give up, sir. I'm talking about some challenge at the workplace where you were.
Shakespeare has said life is a tale told by an idiot. So it can't be challenged. So sum up the courage and marshal all your fearlessness and negotiate it, whatever comes. The challenge becomes bigger for people who start nursing a sense of insecurity for future and regret for whatever they have not been able to do in the past. The present is the only thing. Work apace, 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 honest labor bears a lovely face. Effort is in our hand. So nothing was a challenge in life. Briefly, I have been doing quantum mechanics in BSc and MSc stages and even after. Finished my PhD in physics. And found nothing challenging. Quantum mechanics made me positive, full of positivity. What are the problems in quantum mechanics? They say that electron, even with very tiny amount of energy, can destroy a very big concrete wall by constant effort, by constant bombardment. A stream of electrons can destroy a thick concrete wall. So a lot of positivity. With your limitations in mind, the small energy and capacity that you have, the internal energy, meditative form of existence of mind can lead to success. Leadership is all about making right kind of efforts at the right time. Success is bound to follow.
I completely agree, sir, and I must share my one immediate learning from whatever sir had said, that whenever you are talking from a tall leader from intelligence, no matter what you ask, you will only get what they want to give you, right? Which brings me to my next question, sir. I was listening to a very senior person from your establishment who said there are three kinds of people in the world. One who are afraid before the task, one who are afraid during the task, and one who are afraid after the task. My very specific pointed question to you, which category did you belong to?
An intelligence officer never says no to a task. What will happen if I am going to contain a danger? There are chances of my being hurt or injured is always there. There is a distinct possibility of you getting defeated, but that should not deter you from making honest efforts. And again, leadership lies there. Courage, conviction, character. Yes, these are qualities of a leader, but in intelligence world, the master, whatever assignment he gives you, you have to do full justice. You have to apply your best. You can't say no. And if you say no, means you are defeated before the war has begun. No. We never say no to any task. Nothing is impossible. Napoleon had long ago said, impossible is a word that exists in the dictionary of the idiots, cowards. So that is.
So which also brings to me to my last question. And it is for benefit of all the academicians and corporate people there. If you have to give them specific 2 tips, how to handle external interference in the task which you are trying to achieve, what would be those 2 strong tips for each one of them? Because I'm pretty sure in their day-to-day leadership roles, they face external interference. So maybe 2 lessons from you which they will find it meaningful at their workplace. And I'm pretty sure you, in the illustrious career that you had, you have faced different kind of external interference, and I'm clear about the choice of word interference.
Yes, the challenges are varied, but you should take on them in a graded manner. You should prioritize yourself. You should convince the superiors and also the juniors. There should be one communication. There should be constant communication. No fears should emanate from you as leader. You should allow a free communication, 2-way communication. Allow the lowest functionary, a constable, to speak out his mind. That is how I ensured public reasoning in the organization. I led a force of more than 1 lakh. And I had allowed them, it was registered, they were assured that I will not take it otherwise, even if you mention something idiotic. You should feel free to point out my errors, my limitations, my deficiencies. And it so happened that I was given best of ideas. I had the best of ideas from very small functionaries. So anybody could reach me and give me his peace of mind, his or her peace of mind. So this is one way to ensure that flow of ideas is constantly happening in the organization.
No, thank you, sir. I think you talked about 2 very specific things. You talked about courage and you talked about communication and facilitating communication from all the stakeholders. And it is also about the courage which you hold and the position, with which you stand in front of your subordinates, which is going to play an important role. Only one question allowed from the audience. Of course, we can connect during lunch. Only one question, and my only request, that should be a question. Anyone from the audience, we can take one question. Anyone?
You are at liberty to put any question, but I am at liberty to maintain my reticence.
Okay. If there are no questions from the audience, I will fill one on their behalf, sir.
Please.
What are the 3 things you'd ever look for while hiring anyone?
Character, integrity, and intelligence.
Character, integrity, and intelligence.
If a person is brilliant, intelligent, and is a man of character, but not integrity. Integrity is something bigger than character. So if he is intelligent, but not having integrity, then reject him outright. Integrity should be there. And lot many qualities one looks for. I was also chairman of the recruitment board and advisor to recruitment boards throughout the country. So integrity is very important and the single most important attribute one looks for in the candidates that who come for getting recruited.
Thank you so much, sir. Please have a big round of applause for him. And I'm just ending the session with a confession. Every time I was trying my best, I could also hear sir saying in the heart of his heart, तुमसे पहले बहुत आए, कोशिश उन्होंने भी की, तुम भी करो, मैं वही बोलूँगा, which I am determined to say. Thank you so much, sir. It was lovely having you over here. Back to you.
We are deeply grateful to Shri B.K. Singh for gracing us with his presence and sharing his profound insights. His wisdom, experiences, anecdotes, and rich perspectives have been truly inspiring, leaving us with much to reflect upon. Our sincere appreciation to Dr. Subrat Kumar for steering this engaging conversation. Let us have a huge round of applause for them. I would now like to extend our sincere gratitude to IOCL, the Indian Oil Corporation Limited, for being the sponsor of our Fireside Chat session. May I kindly invite on stage Mr. Anup Tamuli, GM HR at Indian Oil, and Mr. Rajiv Dubey, Chairman at Mahindra Group, to felicitate our esteemed speaker. My apologies, Mr. Anup Tamuli, Chief General Manager HR at Indian Oil.